Booktube! My name is Sarah and welcome to the Bookish Knitter. And I am going to do a tag today. I haven't done a tag in years, but I've seen this one making the rounds over the last, a lot of people did this over a month ago. I am just jumping on the bandwagon now. But this is a tag that was created by that reading guy, and I will leave link to the original tag below. I was not tagged by anybody, but I saw Ollie at Criminale do this. I saw Steve Donahue do this. I've seen, a bunch of different people do this one, and I really enjoyed watching it. And this is the Snob-O-Meter Tag. So basically, are you a book snob? And I like to think no, but let's answer the questions and find out. So yeah, I just thought that this one was a lot of fun. It kind of gets you more into your reading and your thoughts on reading and stuff like that. So these are always fun. So just let me put on my glasses. Sorry, my hair does weird things when the glasses go on. It kind of sticks out a little bit, but that's the thing. Anyway, we're still learning to live with this new hair. It's fine. I love it. I absolutely love it. So there are 12 questions tagging people. I'm not going to bother doing that because I think a lot of people have done this tag, but we'll get there in a second. So question number 1 is, what is your definition of book snobbery? Basically, book snobbery is anyone who looks down on anybody for anything that they read. And that doesn't matter what it is. If somebody looks down on me for reading romance, category romance especially, mysteries, things like that, then they're a book snob. And vice versa. If, I'm well, all you read is literary fiction, how boring. Or all you read is nonfiction, how boring. That makes a book snob as well. It does not matter what side of the coin is. If you are looking down on somebody for whatever it is they happen to be reading, that's on you. You are a book snob. To me, reading, and we're going to get more into this as the tag goes on, but if your reading is graphic novels, awesome. If your reading is audiobooks, awesome. If your reading is comic books, children's literature, whatever, as long as you're reading a book, you're still doing better than most people out there who are not reading anything at all. Question number 2, is there a genre or type of book that you would never consider reading? Such as, would you ever read a romance? Yes. Or if you regularly read romance, would you ever try a sci-fi novel? So, I am not a fan of science fiction. It's not my jam. I have tried it. I don't like it. I also am not a big fan of fantasy. Years ago in my youth, I read the Dragonlance books, Dragons of Autumn, Twilight. I love those books. I've never read Lord of the Rings. I did read The Hobbit when I was in school. So it's not like I haven't tried them. It's just not my jam. I'm also not a fan of romantasy because again, I'm not a romance reader. I am a romance reader. I'm not a fantasy reader. So the appeal of dragons and shapeshifters and blue aliens and all these things just don't appeal to me. But that's me. And that's why these books are out there, because they are for somebody else. Just because I have no interest in reading them doesn't make me a snob. It just means I know my taste. And that's not what I'm into. That's not what I'm interested in reading. I am much more a contemporary romance reader. I do love romantic suspense. That's more my jam. If something comes out that sounds good, maybe I'll try. Every now and then I've dipped my toes into something different. Years ago, I read Ready Player One, which is something that I would have never picked up. And I really, really liked it. But maybe that was a one-off. What would you consider that to be? More a science fiction kind of a book? But in terms of sci-fi, I always think Star Wars or Star Trek and whatever, and that's just not my jam. So, but anyway, convince me wrong. If you guys have something out there that you think I'm going to like, something like Brandon Sanderson, those high, fantasy world building, I have no interest. I did start to read Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros, and I just couldn't. I'm going to try it. I would like to try it because I want to see what the hype is in a way, but I think it's one that I would have to try on audio, just because. Number 3, does erotica count as literature? Yes, with a caveat, with a big asterisk on it. So it depends on what you're talking about, right? I feel now, and I'm going to make myself sound very old right now, that a lot of romance novels are gearing much more towards the spicy end of the spectrum. It's almost like a shock value thing, I feel, in a way. And I know that, again, that is for a type of reader, and those people who read them love them, and that's great. They're not for me. I tend to skip a lot of that stuff. I've read the new Tessa Bailey's, I read, it's the Big Shot series that she's writing. Fangirl Down is book 1. The Au Pair Affair is book 2. I need to get to book 3, which is Dream Girl Drama, I think it's called. But they are just loaded with like spice after spice after spice. The Megan Quinn book that came out at Christmas time that everybody talked about. The Grinch Neighbor one. That cover, that book sounded so delightful. The entire second half was nothing but spice, spice, spice. And I just don't think it's needed. That's my personal opinion. We talked about last night, just actually in a live show that I was in, that there's an author, I can't remember who it was, but they posted at the beginning of the book saying, like, these are all the chapters that the spice was in, and if you wanted to skip them, you could. Okay, then why put it in at all? If you can just skip it, then I guess, is it there for... The whole thing is that for me, if there's going to be spice in a book, it needs to move the plot forward. If it's there for the sake of being there, then it's not moving the plot forward. Or if you can skip it entirely, it's also not moving the plot forward. Does that make sense? There are some books that I've read that are fantastic and have those scenes in them. Oh God, it was one that came out years and years and years ago by Megan. Oh goodness, it's going to drive me crazy now. I'm so sorry, you guys. Hold on. I got to look this up. Megan... I'm going to have to look up the book. It was really good. And she writes a lot of those kind of books. And they were really, really enjoyable. But, like, it was there and it moved the plot forward, basically. The next question that we have here is, number 4, is it better to read classic books than popular bestsellers? It's better to read whatever the hell you want to read. If you want to read nothing but Jane Austen, Jane Eyre, Charles Dickens, if that's your jam, you enjoy. If you want to read nothing but James Patterson, have at it. Enjoy. Stephen King, go for it. Read what you want to read. Nothing is better than the other. Reading is reading. Reading something is better than not reading anything. That's the answer. 5, have you ever bragged about reading a classic in order to sound smart? I don't think so. I honestly don't think so, because I don't see the point in that. That's just, maybe in my younger years, but I don't remember. I honestly don't, because I'm not a classics reader, and I'm the first person who will say I am not a classics reader. I just don't. Next year, actually, I'm going to be trying, over on Mama Needs to Read Romance's channel, she's going to be doing a year-long Jane Austen read-along next year. So I'm looking forward to that. So it'll be I've read Pride and Prejudice. I read Persuasion. They just weren't for me. My big thing with classics, and I know, I'm sorry, I'm doing air quotes here, is the tropes are exactly the same as romance today. So why is a romance novel today with the same tropes as Persuasion considered to be garbage literature, but Persuasion is considered to be classic? But the tropes are the same. The plot is the same. Do you know what I mean? Is it because of the time it was written? Is it because there's a spice content in the newer book? I could go off on that tangent all day long. Number 6, do audiobooks count as reading? Yes, 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 and yes. Absolutely. You are ingesting the book the very same way as anybody else. I can listen to a book on audio and still be able to tell you all about that book. I find, though, with me now, is I tend to go back and forth between the audiobook and the physical or the ebook. So it's generally not the full, I don't fully listen to it on audio. Sometimes it's a supplement. Like if I'm driving or doing something else and I want to read while I'm doing that thing, I will pop in the audiobook. And then at other times, if I'm sitting down or relaxing, I pick up the physical or ebook, whatever. But no, they 100% do count as reading. If you think they do not count as reading, I'm going to pull out a word now, and that is ableist. Because there are a lot of people who cannot physically read a book, and the only way they can read is via audio. So if you're telling me that all those people are not reading, you're wrong. Full stop. What about comic books or graphic novels? 100%. My niece right now loves graphic novels, and that's great because you know what? She's reading. It's fine. It's all good. Number 7, have you ever looked down on someone for reading a popular fluff book? A book with little substance to it. For example, a self-help book or a celebrity memoir. No. If that's what you want to read, that's cool. That, again, is just not for me. I could care less about celebrity memoirs. I'm not a celebrity person. All those shows that are like, oh, they're talking about what the celebrities are doing. Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? If I hear one more thing about Katy Perry going into space and the whole we're moving things for women in space. What about all the women who went to space before, who actually went to space before you? This is why I haven't. And a couple weeks ago I talked about this. I'm a big fan of those crumble cookies, like that company. They had a whole thing with the Kardashians. I refused to buy them that week because I refused to acknowledge anything to do with the Kardashians. They're famous for being famous. And celebrity stuff, I could care less. But if that's your jam, especially celebrities like, I know a lot of people reading the Cher book right now, or they've read the David Bowie memoir, or the one when Matthew Perry passed away. That stuff I get, and I've read a couple of them myself, but they're not for me. Like, they're generally not. I could care less. It's just patting themselves on their back. Now, self-help books, those can be helpful to people. Maybe not to me, but maybe to some. And if it's helpful to you, great. It's just not something that but I would never look down on you for doing it. Number 8, have you ever been the recipient of someone else's book snobbery? Yes, 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 and yes. I read category romance. I read, like trashy Harlequin, what people would be considering trashy Harlequin novels. Why don't you read something of a little bit more substance? You should read, even within the romance reading community, people are like, oh, you should read something else. Read, blah, 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 blah. No, these are just as good. Number 9. Would you be friends with a book snob? Or maybe you already are. Yeah, I would. You do you. I'm not saying that they're right or wrong. They're wrong. But I'd still be friends with you. Just to be friends with somebody doesn't mean you have to agree with everything that they stand for. But you can still be friends and you can agree to disagree. Number 10. Are people who don't read less sophisticated than people who do? No, not necessarily, but you should read. Reading is good. Reading is fun. It sure beats scrolling on your phone for hours on end. Especially with what's going on in the world today. And nobody wants to hear what's on the news. Question number 11. Measure yourself. Based on your answers to the previous 10 questions, would you qualify as a book snob? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I mean, considering what I read, I sure as heck better not be a book snob. And number 12 is tag some people. Basically, I'm going to say, if you have not done this tag and you want to do this tag, consider yourself tagged. But anyway, guys, that is it. I hope you enjoyed this, and I will talk to you in my next video. Take care and happy reading, everybody. Bye.